Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history. And in this video, I want to thank Giannis again. It's like a thank you to Giannis part 2. You guys, I did that video a couple of days ago, basically saying thank you to Giannis for not being a three-point chucker like a lot of these other young players are becoming now, and not falling into that trap. I told you guys, it looked like he was going to become a guy that was going to try to shoot 5, 6, 7, 8 threes a game, and they were trying to congratulate Giannis for stepping out to the three-point line and attempting to shoot threes. And I was like, no, that's not your game, dude. You don't got to shoot threes or attempt threes to be a skilled player or to be a great player. Play your game. And Giannis, again, last night leads the Milwaukee Bucks to the in-season tournament, but that's not really what it's about. It's about the fact that, again, last night, Giannis took 0 threes. He attempted 0 3-pointers again in leading his team to a victory, playing both sides of the ball, man, and having an impact on both sides of the ball. So much respect, guys. I want to talk about it again in this video, man. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world. Everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly, truly humbled by all support. It really means a lot. Shout out to everybody in the membership. Like I said, guys, it really, truly humbling for some of the things you guys leave in the comment section, man, and some of the things you guys say to me. You guys understand why I'm here, man. Real recognize real. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, I wanted to do another brief video talking about my man Giannis again and basically just saying thank you again to Giannis for playing your game, for doing what you do on the court and not trying to be something that you're not. Because that's a problem right now in the NBA. You know, we talk about three-point shooting all the time and, you know, the types of three-point shots these guys are taking and just chucking up all these shots. They're taking bad shots. They come down the court. No one touches the basketball. They just dribble down the court and chuck up a three. Then the team gets a rebound. They dribble down the court, don't pass the ball to anybody, and they chuck up a three. And last night, I turned the game on to the Milwaukee Bucks and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I watched about a quarter and a half of it. And for a minute there, I was getting a little upset because you start to see that. The three-point shot goes up, coming down, three-point shot goes up, coming down, three-point shot goes up. But the game actually wasn't like that bad, man. You had guys playing defense out there. The Milwaukee Bucks held the Oklahoma City Thunder to like 81 points or whatever that was. That's old school basketball right there, man. Holding teams in the 80s. What was it, 97 to 81 or something like that. So you're talking about both teams didn't score over 100. That's an old school basketball game. That's a 2000s era game, a late 90s era game where you're talking about scores in the 90s, scores in the 80s. You guys remember the 2000s. These scores would be sometimes 75 to 71. Yeah, if you had the Spurs playing against the Detroit Pistons in the 2000s, right, you'd have these low-scoring games because teams played defense. You had great defenders, defensive players, but you had great team defense out there. So the scores would be like that, man. And we appreciate guys giving the effort on the defensive end and making it more difficult for these guys to score. That's why I laugh when they say, you know, the guys back in the day couldn't play today, but the guys today could play back then. It don't add up. The guys back in the day actually had a harder time to score. It was harder to do these things. So how would they be or have a harder time today? On the flip side, right, the guys today have it much easier. So how would they fare back in the day with more physicality, right? With guys really trying to hurt you out there and do something to you. When you had guys playing legit defense and they were allowed to do these things, you had legit big men clogging up the paint, right? All this stuff, man. Teams running full court presses, half court traps, all this stuff going on. Excuse me, guys. So when we talk about the game last night, like I said, man, a great game for the Milwaukee Bucks, playing that defense, and Giannis was out there doing his thing, man, on both sides of the ball. I think Giannis, I told you, at the beginning of the season, I was a little concerned about him. I was wondering, what's up with this guy? He did not seem like his normal self. He just did not seem to have the impact on the defensive end. And I talked about that early in the season. The Milwaukee Bucks were struggling, but they opened up 2-8 or something like that in the season. But the team was struggling, but I thought Giannis wasn't having the impact on the defensive end. And this man has turned it around. The Milwaukee Bucks have turned their season completely around. And once again, now they've won the in-season tournament, and now Giannis wants to use the in-season tournament to propel his team throughout the rest of the regular season, right? He said they're not going to celebrate it with the champagne and all this craziness, right? They're not going to overly celebrate the in-season tournament because he knows it doesn't really mean anything. It literally means nothing, man. It's nice for them to have this, and they want it. Good for them, but it means nothing. These guys got some money out of it. That's really what it comes down to. More money for these guys, which is why we don't respect it. Why do these guys need more money to show up to work? It don't make any sense. And we call it a gimmick. But the Milwaukee Bucks did not celebrate it like that, right? They didn't do all this nonsense. So much respect to Giannis and his leadership and understanding what's really the goal of the NBA season of these teams. The goal is to win a championship. And for some of these teams, that goal may not be a reality, right? But for a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, and you have a player like a Giannis, that is a reality for the Milwaukee Bucks. They could be a championship contending team because the guy you have on your team leading you is that guy, is that good. So Giannis has basically come back and taken over, to me, his spot as the best player in the NBA. I know people want to argue with Nikola Jokic and the things that he does on the court, man. To me, it's just not, he don't have the overall impact on both sides as a Giannis would. To me, Giannis' game would translate more into other eras because of his defensive ability. His athleticism would help him translate better into other areas. Once again, Nikola Jokic, to me, is a mentally tough guy. He's physically tough. I don't think his toughness is a question. To me, his athleticism is obviously a question. And once again, his lack of defensive ability is a big question in eras where you would have been going against legit big men, where you would have to play defense literally every single night against Hakeem Olajuwon, or against Patrick Ewing, or against David Robinson, or against Shaquille O'Neal, or against Brad Daugherty, or against Robert Parrish, or Rick Smits, or Ronnie Cycli, or Alonzo Mourning. You have to play defense against these guys. They have offensive games. Some of them are offensive greats on that side. But also, you're going to be going against great defensive centers at the same time. And to me, Giannis may have overtaken his spot back as the best player in the league. To me, I think he's probably the best two-way player in the NBA right now. I don't think you can argue anyone else against Giannis as far as the two-way play goes and the impact of that two-way play. And you saw the impact last night when they hold the Oklahoma City Thunder to 80 points. But as I said, they scored 81 points, I believe, last night, which is unheard of now. Teams are scoring 140, 130, 120 pretty regularly. But they held that team last night to 80-something points. So that's fantastic right there. Like I said, the defensive impact from Giannis, which spreads out to the rest of the team, right? These guys are out there giving the effort on the defensive end, man. So much respect, I said, to Giannis for playing his game, not taking all these three-point shots, not chucking all these shots up, man. Doing what he does within himself. I saw a stat that said that Giannis has not shot below 60% in any game this season. I believe that's what I saw. He has not shot below 60% in any game this season. And you know why that is? Because he's not taking bad shots. He's not taking shots that he don't deserve or belong taking. And that's the problem in the NBA. A lot of guys out here are taking shots that they should not be taking. They're taking bad shots. They're just chucking up shots to chuck up shots. But no one wants to watch this stuff, and you're not impacting the game. That's not helping your team win. And Giannis, once again, is playing within himself. So the shots that he does take are normally around the rim, right? Because that's really where he's effective, and he understands this. So he predicates his game around that paint area. I told you guys a couple of years ago, it seemed like Giannis was starting to try to step out into that three-point line, right? And trying to take more threes. I told you, I believe he was averaging 4 or 5 threes a game a couple of years ago, which is way too many threes. Once again, Giannis should not be taking any threes. And that's why I've talked about this over the last couple of games. Giannis has attempted 0 threes. And I told you on the season, he's only taken 17 threes, I believe. 17. 17 is unheard of. I told you have guys taking more than that in one game. In one game, you have guys chucking up more than 17 threes. And once again, this is a premier play in the NBA. So thank you, Giannis, again, for not chucking up all these threes, for not taking away from your team, from playing your game, which will help your team be effective, which will help your team be consistent, which will help your team be formidable, right? It will help that team be good. And they're going to be great because of Giannis. That's it. Remember, Damian Lillard, to me, is inconsistent at best. That's part of the problem for Damian Lillard in his entire career. He's never been consistently great. So yes, there's been times where Damian Lillard's been on fire and we're talking about, oh, it's Dame time. But more often than not, Damian Lillard's not there for you, right? He takes a lot of bad shots, Damian Lillard. That's part of his problem, is that he takes these shots that he should not be taking. We get it. You have range. You can shoot from that deep, but you should not be shooting from that deep as much as he does. And that's part of the reason why his team falter in the postseason. He doesn't really do anything else. He's not really much of a leader to me. But with Giannis there and Damian Lillard on the court, you have a chance, a formidable duo that has potential, like I said, to be something. And it looks like the Milwaukee Bucks may have found something out here. I believe they won, 7 games in a row? I could be wrong about that, but they've won all of their in-season tournament games. They never lost any of their in-season tournament games. So much respect to Giannis, like I said, for going out there, being a true leader, not over-celebrating the NCAA tournament win, understand that it doesn't mean anything, and understand that there's still a lot of NBA left to play, all right? A lot of season left to go. And like I said, thank you for Giannis for not being one of these guys that just chucks up shots. When you have guys like Anthony Edwards chucking up all these threes and, Victor Wembanyama, who's only in his second season, and the man's taking 9 threes a game, it's like, come on, man, what are we doing here? These guys are taking way too many bad shots. So once again, it's not just about the threes that they're taking, the amount of threes, but it's also the types of threes that they're taking that really takes away from the overall game, the flow of the game. These guys that come down the court, take 3 steps past half court, chuck up a 3, and people are like, oh, break. So really, what are we doing here? Right? Long rebound, guy comes down, long 3, oh, brick. No one wants to watch this stuff, right? It becomes unwatchable when you keep seeing that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Guys just missing shots that are bad shots. They're not good shots. They're not coming off a ball rotation or ball movement or any of this kind of stuff. Like I say, heat check almost every single time down the court. But last night was a little bit better. Much respect to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the NCAA tournament. And like I said, it doesn't matter. But if you think about the way the Bucks started the season, I believe they were 2-8 at the beginning of the season. If you think about the way they started the season and the way that they've been going about their business over the last, month or so, let's say, much respect to them, man. They turned the season around. Remember, everyone was on Doc Rivers, and I don't do any videos really on Doc Rivers or, the coaches and things of that nature. But Doc Rivers was getting a lot of hate, and we know Doc Rivers has his issues, man. The man's blown multiple 3-1 leads in the postseason. He has his issues. To me, he might have been a little bit of overhyped as a coach. When he coached the Celtics, they kind of underachieved. And Doc Rivers is not a great coach. He had some problems when he was in the Clippers, and they blew that 3-1 lead. And we talk about the 3-1 leads that he's blown before. But the facts remain, man. He's a quality head coach, and he has the Milwaukee Bucks playing pretty good right now. I believe Darvin Ham is on that team, on the coaching staff. So much respect and shout out to Darvin Ham, because he was the scapegoat for the Lakers last year. You guys know the deal, man. All the Milwaukee Bucks fans out there, man. You guys got Giannis doing his thing out there. He's playing his game. He's not playing outside of himself. So much respect to him for not chucking up all these threes like a lot of these guys do today and falling for that game. And like I said, not being a cookie-cutter player, playing his own game and staying within his game and not listening to all these fools out here like James Harden when he's got no skills. Giannis got no skills. Nah, James Harden, you got no skills. Giannis' defensive skills alone will blow anything that James Harden does on the court out of the water, man. James Harden can't shine Giannis' shoes, man. Can't shine them. But that fool will talk about Giannis' lack of skills like it matters. It doesn't matter because this NBA is not the most skilled era. These guys are not skilled, right? They're not held to the same standard. And I'm not saying Giannis is perfect, man. He just can't really dribble the ball that well, right? He does this Euro step sometimes that's like awkward, right? We get all of that. But that's where the game is played, man. But like I said, he's not chucking up those threes, taking bad shots. And last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder had Lou Dort guarding Giannis. Lou Dort's like 6'3". How are you guarding Giannis? Like, these are the top defenders in the era, Lou Dort. They had Alex Caruso guarding Giannis last night sometimes. I mean, what is going on here, man? They had like triple teaming Giannis. They were double teaming him. They had 4 guys around him. All these little guys guarding Giannis. I'm like, what's going on here, man? This is the NBA. It's a little league. But they tell us bigger, stronger, faster, man. Don't add up. So Giannis played his game. He posted those guys up. He backed them down. He took it to the hole. And he went strong. Like he should be doing. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.